What's up guys? Welcome back to my little Subaru only shop here in Northern California. It's really crazy times out there and I hope you guys are doing okay. It's also been a while since I made these videos and I just want you guys to know that I'm getting back in the saddle and I'm going to start off by giving you two things that I definitely owe you. The first is an explanation of where the hell I've been and what the hell happened and why I had to take a break from making these YouTube videos. And I'm going to give you guys that in a video. But first, I want to give you guys an update on that 1998 RS Coupe build where I'm swapping that 2004 WRX EJ205 motor. I'm gonna give you guys a full breakdown of what happened with that swap and what the status is of my 1998 RS Coupe. Thanks a lot for checking out the channel, guys. I hope you're doing okay. My name's Luke. This is the Subaru Only Show. This is my little Subaru Only shop. It's a DIY Subaru channel. It's a channel where all I do is Subaru builds and race Subaru vehicles and motorsport events. It's a DIY themed channel where I walk you guys through the steps to get your Subarus back on the road and hopefully do a little racing of your own. So thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Okay guys, in the last few videos for this build, I actually had a whiteboard where I was walking through 12 steps to get this build complete. So for this video, I'm going to start off by revisiting that whiteboard and marking off all those steps. And then we're going to jump over to the car and I'm going to walk you guys through the status of the car. Okay, here's that whiteboard, EJ205 engine build. Tear down the engine, machine the heads, clean the short block, paint the intake manifold, ceramic coat the exhaust, polish the valve covers. I basically made videos for all those steps. The plastic timing cover I never made a video for, but I had an idea that I never fulfilled and I'll have to maybe do it another time on another build. So I was basically planning on walking you guys through the whole hydro dip process and dipping those timing covers into a carbon fiber pattern in the hydro dip. I'm going to do that in a future video because I think that'd be really cool. And from my research, I think that hydro dip film, once it's on your plastic surface, will be fine with the temperatures and the conditions in your engine bay. So that would be a really cool thing and a really cool like custom touch to do your timing covers. It costs very little actually. So that's another cool one to do in the future. Oil pickup and oil pan, I did that. That was a killer bee oil pickup and I upgraded to a later model oil pan. New head gaskets, I actually made a video for that, but I never checked it off this list. So let's check it off now, boom. The new time belt kit, I actually made a video on that. That was actually, I think, my last video. So let's just check that one off too. I guess I just never came back to this list and checked it off. Install the exhaust and the turbo. I actually made, so I actually filmed a bunch of footage for installing the turbo and making another video for installing your turbo. Maybe I'll play some of that footage now. Okay guys, so the first step is to line up this turbo inlet. Get that sucker lined up and get it started just like that. Once you have that turbo inlet lined up, move on to the second step, which is those studs on the downpipe. Okay, while keeping that inlet installed, go ahead and drop that turbo over the downpipe studs. That's actually about the time where I stopped making videos for YouTube. And without getting into too much detail, I'll tell you guys right now, one of the main reasons I stopped making videos for YouTube was I had an injury flare up and editing videos and shooting videos just made my back injury and my neck injury like 10 times worse. And it was gonna make it almost impossible to heal. So I basically had no way of healing my neck and back while still making YouTube videos. And that was one of the primary reasons I had to take a break for a while, is to let that heal up and to go through all the physical therapy for it. So I did install the exhaust and turbo. Teaser alert, I actually have the car running great right now. And we'll see that in a second. And then install the intake manifold. I actually made a video on that. I actually did that out of order. I think I did that before I ended up doing maybe the timing belt and things like that. So I did do a video for that, so check that video out if you guys want to see how to install your intake manifold. So that's your list. So I got all the parts of the list done. EJ205 engine build is done, which means we gotta go check out the car now. And for those of you guys who are new to the video, this is actually my little Subaru only shop. I got a lot of different tools up here. Teaser alert for maybe a future video that we'll be talking about, for those of you guys who know what that is. I got all my shop tools up here. I got my Colin McRae tribute like little thing above my tool chest right here. Got a couple strut tower braces. Got a bunch of parts up here. Got the old banner from my shop. I used to have a shop here in the Bay Area called SubaruONLY. It's a long story. I'll have to make a video on that someday. That was actually the second shop I was owner. I was a sole owner of this shop, but I was actually a partner and a co-owner of a previous shop about 20 years ago called Never Enough Racing. And it was down in the Inland Empire in Southern California. You can look it up. I actually started with a guy named Jeff, and I think he's still running the shop down there. Anyways, this is my shop. Got a bunch of stuff up there. And incidentally, coming back to this, even though I has nothing to do with Never Enough, Never Enough was on the heels of graduating from UTI. I actually went to UTI in 1999, Universal Technical Institute, and got my automotive degree, or automotive technology degree, or whatever you call it, certificate. Okay, this is my shop, just so you can see more parts up there. Got some cool stuff up there. Yeah, anyways, that's the shop. Got the grinder mounted on the door, so you can flip the door out and do all your grinding or your metal working on this kind of, on your what is this, 4.5 inch grinder outside, which is nice. Okay, and then we got the car. Yes, this is the 1998 RS Coupe. I'm sure you guys are wondering, what's the condition of this sucker? I'm gonna do a little walk around of it. It's dirty, it's been a while. And yes, I got this structure here. I actually have this little canopy that I've been using, but it's a little bit too windy. And the sucker's like a sail, so I had to pull down the top. I don't really need it right now anyways. Okay, so here's the car. I'm gonna do another video where I get into whole suspension, but I have gone through a couple different iterations of suspension on this car. I've gone through, I've upgraded the brakes, and we'll talk about that all in a second. But let me jump by pulling the hood. I actually have this custom little pin pull for the hood. That way I don't have to go to the inside. I can always just pull it from the outside. Yeah, I know it's a security problem, and I'm gonna figure out a way for that to deal with it. Maybe hide it or something in here, but it's so much more convenient for me. I just have to worry about those thieves out there trying to jack me when I'm out in public. Okay. Let me get rid of this thing. Okay guys, this is it. The EJ205 2004 WRX US domestic model, getting leaves from the tree above as we speak, dropping into my intercooler. Where do I begin? The swap went great. I actually took a couple videos of when I was dropping this engine into the bay, and I took some of the footage and I never had a chance to edit it, so maybe I'll play some of that footage of me having this engine up in the hoist right before I dropped it into the engine bay. That way you guys can see some last minute footage of that, or some progress, or transition footage of that. All right, I got the new ACT lightweight flywheel and the competition clutch. It's looking really good. I've just centered everything and I've torqued it down to the factory specs. There's actually my mounting points. I like to use one mounting point right there in the front of the engine, and then go around to the back of the engine and use two mounting points. One point right there on the left side of the engine, and one point right there on the right side of the engine. And I make sure that those are evenly centered so that the engine isn't tilting one way or the other. As you can see, the engine is relatively level. And then I use this crank pulley right here so I can tilt the engine if needed, frontwards or backwards. And that's pretty much my setup to drop this engine into my 1998 RS Coupe. Okay, as you guys can see, I'll start from the things that are obvious. The red intake manifold, this is painted with that red wrinkle coat paint, and I made a whole video on that one, so check that out if you're interested. Obviously you're seeing a stock intercooler. This is a 2004 stock intercooler, the stock recirc or blow-off valve. It's not really a blow-off valve, it's recirculating. All the stock components, stock turbo inlet, the stock air intake setup, stock turbo. I actually have an aftermarket heat shield over the turbo, but it's a stock turbo. All the stock piping, all the stock PCV system is installed, all the stock hoses, all the stock evaporative fuel system collection and recirculation stuff is installed. And the reason we have all of the emissions and all the OEM stuff installed is because this engine actually has to go through a bar inspection as soon as it's safe to do so. Actually, it's basically ready to do a bar inspection right now. But because all the offices are shut down and it's not really a safe environment out there with the coronavirus and people are in lockdown right now, basically it's not a good time for me to go do the bar inspection. So as soon as this whole thing passes, I can take this car and go get it inspected, hopefully get my bar certification sticker, get the smog certification, and have this car be bar legal. That way I can smog it at any normal smog station in California from this point forward. So that's what you're looking at, totally stock OEM stuff. I'll kind of walk through some of the things I've done that are custom, I guess. I got these custom little aluminum bars and my Kiorad, I don't know how to pronounce that freaking thing, radiator. So these little bars, these are basically just aluminum bar stock that I got, drilled to the exact right holes, new bolt right here, and basically lined them up so it's the perfect gap, holding that radiator exactly where I need it. So I got two of them. They're different sizes. They're at skewed angles. But you know what? I kind of like it. I think it looks kind of cool, kind of custom, and they're definitely solid and heavy duty. You know, they're not going to bend or anything like that. You can see how thick they are here. I think they're about, I don't know how thick they are, 1/4 inch thick, maybe thicker, but they're pretty heavy duty. And you just kind of brush, I just kind of sanded them up so they have a brushed aluminum finish. That way they match kind of the finish of the radiator, that brushed aluminum look. I think I'm actually gonna, real quick, I'm gonna add like a little rubber O-ring or rubber washer underneath this thing, right on this little stud. Okay, and I got the red Optimum battery and just a stock battery holder down. Still running this fuel filter. I need to get like a little strap that holds that sucker in place. I actually think this 2004 WRX has an in-tank fuel filter setup originally from the OEM, so this might be remnant from the 98 RS fueling system setup, which means I can get rid of this and go with the stock filter in the tank. But I'm not sure if that's better or easier. I gotta do a little more research on that. But for right now, that's the way it's set up, and it's running great the way it is. Okay, fuel intake manifold, stock intercooler, stock recirc valve right here. Have to have it for now. Stock. What else I got here? This little sucker, this is a power steering reservoir. It's kind of sitting right here. It doesn't have a good spot for it yet, so I'm going to make a custom bracket for it at some point. Seems to work just fine. This is the location it is on the 2004 WRX, but in this 1998 RS chassis, there's no place for this like fluid reservoir to sit. See if I can get a better angle so you can see it's that one with the red yellow cap. Okay, like I said, stock intake. I think I have a K&N filter in this sucker. Stock 2004. Like boost controller, electronic boost controller. This is just a diaphragm for the internal wastegate. Stock turbo. I have a stainless steel shield, as you guys can see. I'm pretty sure that will be okay for the bar inspection. It has nothing to do with emissions or anything like that. What else? Oh, I got here, these are actually the Group N strut top mounts. So these are actually a stiffer rubber and are brand new because mine were all breaking apart in the middle. And if you're going to go ahead and replace your strut top mounts, these Group N ones aren't actually that much more expensive. So it's a nice little upgrade for your suspension, because I actually upgraded my suspension to KYB, what are they, AGX adjustable shocks on all four corners. And we'll take a closer look at that when I get in there. But as you're looking right here, you're probably seeing this sucker. This is the kind of carbon fiber pattern, fake carbon fiber pattern. Hood struts. I love these hood struts. As you can see, I'll stand back. It makes so much easier working on the car. But these hood struts, as you can kind of see, they don't allow the hood to go full 90 degree up, which I have on my Forester XT. These are kind of at that normal traditional angle for a hood. And I like the ones that are extended to go all the way up for full 90 degrees. And I couldn't find anything like that on the market that was a full kit. So I actually bought this kit. It was a pretty cheap kit, like 70 bucks. And I bought longer struts for like 20 bucks on the Amazon. I'm gonna install those longer struts that still have enough compression to allow the hood to close. So I think I'm gonna be able to come up with my own fix, and I'll make a video on that too. Okay, let's see. Yeah, stock, like just a coolant reservoir here. What else do I got to talk about here? I did replace a clutch. I think I have a couple pictures of that. I'll show it. I don't remember which brand it is, but it's basically a stock replacement clutch. I actually did have a new flywheel in this sucker too. That light and flywheel was too light for this engine. It's a whole story. I'll have to make a whole video on that. And but it's through a bunch of pre-ignition codes. Okay, let's go ahead and fire this sucker up. Before I do, I guess I have to explain what the status of the inside is. Okay, no door panels right now. It's only because I'm waiting for a couple clips. Yeah, don't worry. I got socks over the door controls because they're vibrating. Yeah, I know it's ghetto. It's super duper ghetto. But it may look super ghetto, but these are the factory seats with no rips in them. Pretty good condition. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of like cleaning on them, but basically I have really good condition seats, front and back. I actually have the factory Coupe door panels in the garage. I'm just waiting a couple clips. Like I said, I'm actually gonna replace like these little window guides. I'm gonna replace a couple of these plastic clips on the other door. That way I have all the clips and there's no rattling once I put my door panels on, but I have the door panels and the door panels are sick and they're great condition. I actually have these like plastic trim pieces also for the Coupe, hard to find. I have those in perfect condition. So I actually have the door pieces, the trim pieces, and as you'll see, I don't have a rug right now, but I actually have the factory OEM Coupe carpet too. That's brand new in the bag, still smells like a new car. So that's gonna be going in here too. What else? As you can see, It's missing like the center console stuff, like the AC controller and the heat and vent controller. I have the control for that. I actually have a brand new one, or like new old stock one, in the garage as well. So we're going to replace that. And pretty much everything else that needs to be done in this thing is going to be replaced. So as you guys can see, basically this car is going to be kind of like an OEM style, but with the swap for the driveline is what I'm going for. Except for the steering wheel, I have to admit. It's kind of a nice steering wheel. I think this is a steering wheel from the 04 WRX. Not really sure. It's what came on it. I might replace the steering wheel with an r-sti steering wheel. We'll see. Of course, the center dash. I have the AC and the vent controller that goes in right here. This is where the radio goes. Ashtrays here. So I have all these pieces in the garage as well. The dash is in really good condition. It's got the stock gauge cluster. Okay, let me go ahead and fire this thing up. You get an angle you can see here. It's gonna idle at like 1500 RPM because it's been a few days since I fired it up. There's a cold start. It's a cold start idle RPM. And as you can see, basically she's running great. Unfortunately, I don't have this car registered right now, and I don't really think it's a very good time to take it to get the bar inspection. So I'm kind of holding off for the next month or two to get this in bar inspection. That way I can get it fully registered and fully legal and start putting some miles on this car. But so I've done this full swap, and the car runs great, but I'm only really driving up and down my street because my street is a private road. It kind of sucks to not be able to drive this thing and stretch its legs and take it out on the freeway and take it out on the backcountry roads and take it up on some twisty roads that live near me. They're nearby to me. So anyways, as you can see, it's running great. Let me go ahead and get some shot of the exhaust so you guys can hear that. Yeah! Woo! Sounds good. So, got that stock RS rear spoiler. I might replace that with the STI one at some point. This is a stock paint. This is a stock OEM factory 1998 RS Coupe, and they only made apparently like 700 or 800 of these, maybe 730, 40. So it's this car right here is one of 700 or so, and which no longer has a factory engine, because why would you want a 2.5 when you could have a turbo 205, EJ205 turbo. So that's what it is. It's a really clean engine right now. I've replaced a lot of the hardware. Let me get a little close up right here. You can see a lot of the hardware is replaced, a lot of the hoses are replaced. I'm actually using a new app right now that's allowing me to do, to use both cams. So I'm using my face cam while I'm using my front-facing cam. It should be higher resolution. So I hope this is decent quality. I see there's still going to be like a little mixed cam logo on the bottom at this time. I'll probably go ahead and purchase the upgraded version, get rid of that logo. So mixed cam got a free promo on this video. Turn 14. Oh, that's not turn 14. That's turn in concepts. That's what came on the car. So I kept it for provenance, and that's basically the condition of the car. So what else can we say? Okay, the other thing I did, let me go ahead and turn off the car since now you've heard it. I'm gonna keep this video a little raw like this. That's gonna be one of the new things in these videos, is I'm not gonna do much post-processing. It kills my back and neck and all this personal health shit I got to be doing all this editing. Okay, so first thing I'll show you is I actually upgraded the brakes. These are the 4 pots, and I got the 2 pots in the back. So we got the 2-pot, 4-pot brake upgrade on this car. I got new rotors. These are pedalers, slotted. They're not actually slotted, they're just grooved and drilled. And they have a really wide spacing for where they have the drill spots. So I think it's gonna be good. I don't think you have any cracks with them or anything. And the Pedalers is a high quality brand from Australia. I like them. These are actually the original forged BBS wheels from, I think, 2004 STI. I don't know. Don't fact check me on that. I'm missing one of these BBS center caps, but I think I got one of those in the back. I'm going to show you guys that in another video. And then you can see in there, those are the KYB AGX adjustable struts on the front, and you adjust those actually up here. So the way those struts are adjusted, I'll make a video on that at some point. Basically, you kind of come in here and you can adjust that strut to, well, it looks like 4 positions right there, but I think they're 5-way adjustable. I don't know, we'll see. So those are basically the adjust points for the front struts. And then if you go to the back here, these are where the 2 pots are, meaning 2 piston calibers. So these are fixed calibers, which means there's a piston on either side of the pad. And when you press down on that brake pedal, you're actually getting that brake fluid behind both pads and compressing pistons on both sides of the pads, which gives you much better brake control, much more brake pedal feedback in the pedal for the driver, and just a much better braking system. And I got some slotted rotors for this one as well, slotted and drilled. These are some cheap Chinese ones. Hopefully they'll hold up, but they were only about 70 bucks, maybe even less. And then I got these are actually AGX adjustable shocks in the back as well. These are the 5-way adjustables, I think. What else? That's the suspension, the brakes, the engine. Oh, I didn't even mention this bling right here. Popping off right there a little bit, but it's been working great in the 10 miles I put up and down my street 50 times. This is the iWire, what is that? Hood air scoop, air intake deflector, air intake diverter. I don't know what you call these things, but basically it's a custom made one from iWire. They offer a couple different sizes. I got the one for the larger factory air intakes. They're from like 2014 and later STIs, I think. So this thing's way too big for my current intake, right? Which is because I'm going to replace this intake with something from like probably a 2017-18 STI, which has a much larger intake. They're really high quality, and I'm going to replace that when I replace a bunch of parts after I get it bar inspected. So okay, that's that air inlet. What else do I have here? The brakes we talked about. These are hideous. They need replaced. They're all nasty. These windows are really bad. I'm going to either replace these or get them painted. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I haven't talked about this much, but this surface has a lot of oxidation. The paint's been really damaged in this car. So I'm going to go through a couple different like compounds to see if I can revive this paint surface. If you guys have any suggestions, that's a good one. Please let me know in the comments on that too. But look at this paint surface. It needs a lot of work to remove this oxidation. It doesn't look like we've lost much of the color. It's just the clear coat has been peeling really bad and there's a lot of oxidation. So we'll see what we can do with that. Whoops, I do have the package tray inside too. Nothing really in the back. That's about it, I think, on the upgrades for now. So for those of you guys who've been watching these videos, I pulled this engine. It had a blown head gasket, and we replaced this head gasket, but we did a bunch of other things to this engine to add kind of some safety measures and some preventive maintenance stuff to this car. So one of the things I did was I actually added that Killer Bee oil pickup. The factory Subaru oil pickups are notorious for breaking and getting kind of a crack in that oil pickup at the braze location, and when that happens, they actually will suck up air, and you'll suck up air through all your oil system, and you'll burn one of your bearings. So that's one thing I've done to this engine. Another thing I've done to the oiling on this engine is I've actually added a 2007, I think a 2006 or 7 and later STI oil pan. Or maybe that's a 2006 and later WRX oil pan, but 2004 and later STI oil pan. It's a deeper, later style oil pan. It's that bowl style deep dish oil pan, and that actually gives your oil pickup a deeper reservoir to pull from and not as wide a reservoir to pull from, so you have better oil control when you're going on turns. That's another thing we've done. Oh, and then the last thing I think I've done is we've actually added that Get a Dom reverse cooling mod to the back of cylinder number 4. So check out those videos. That was a whole series of videos I did where I walked through why you might want to consider getting one of those reverse cooling mods, and I walked through how the coolant flows through the short block, how the coolant flows through the heads. I actually did something called a flow net, basically a flow diagram or a flow net, which kind of shows you guys how the fluid creates these flow paths through the head. And I did a bunch of videos on that whole path talking about why you might want to use one of these reverse cooling mods. So definitely check that out. And I think that's pretty much it for the updates on the RS Coupe. Okay guys, and that's it for my updates on this RS Coupe. Thanks so much for checking out the video. Like I said, I'm getting back in the saddle, and I'm definitely gonna be making more of these videos a hell of a lot more frequently, or at least that's my plan, and I think I got a plan. I'll walk you guys through the plan in the next video, but I wanted to give you guys an update on this car because a lot of you guys have been asking about where the status of this car is, and how it's looking, and how it's driving, and so on and so forth. So, for those of you guys who have been wondering, that's the status on the RS. It's driving great, the swap went great. So thanks so much for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. For all you guys out there, please stay safe. I know it's crazy times right now. A lot of us are on lockdown. I hope you're safe with your family and your friends and everybody's doing okay. Until next time, take care, guys, and I'll see you later.